And spinning. There we go. Hey, it's another Friday. It's our favorite day of the week here. 12 noon on Friday. It's time for another episode of the CVC Home Service Success Network. And today we got everybody back on. We got Josh on today. We got Noah on, Cheryl, and myself. So that's a fantastic thing. So today we're going to talk about something that may have a profound effect on you because it's actually had a profound effect on myself and Cheryl. And it's something we heard about a few years ago. And to introduce the topic, I'm going to go to Cheryl. Cheryl, tell them about the topic today and what your feelings are on this topic.
Whispers, actually, I heard of them a lot longer than but prior to just a couple years ago, and have been privy to have them. There's different versions of what people think they are, what they say they are. Some call whispers knowing the right from wrong, like the little angels on your shoulder. Um, Others hear, we don't actually hear like in loud words, but basically the whispers have saved my life, I know, twice, because once something told me to pull my car over. And right after pulling my car over, when I decided I didn't know why I was sitting there, I moved, went right around the corner, and the two cars I was between had ran into an embankment wall, and the whole road was clustered up. So I'd have been right in the middle of them. Another time, it's told me my children were in the hospital without anyone doing it. Those are the ones a lot of people don't pay attention to. But the ones we're talking about today are the ones that tell us right from wrong, when to do something, when not to do. And I did a lot of research years ago, and the voices in your head are heard just like the voices outside your head. Your brain assimilates them the same way. And we use those voices daily, hundreds and hundreds of times, such as when are you going to go out to eat? When are you going to make that purchase? It's time to get up and move, whatever. It's time for Josh to go work out. You think about them in your head, but your brain assimilates them just as if you had vocally said them. And a lot of times you feel like you have. And Jerry's noticed sometimes something will hit me and nobody's actually said anything to me, but it's in my head. I'm doing it. And that's kind of my thing. But in work, where we're working at it today, is how will you use it in the work situation? Will you listen to the whispers that tell you to hire someone? Will it you listen to the whispers that'll tell you to, like a lot of people now, to rebrand? Is it time to do this? Is it time to do that? Which way will you weigh the scales? And the whispers are helping. Again, it's your audio inside of your head, and you're making the decision for those. The thing is, do you make the right decision and do you think it through? And that's where I see whispers coming from and what you're wanting to talk about, Jerry. I may be completely off of the subject.
No, that's part of the whispers. But the whispers I'm more rephrasing to are the whispers of what's telling us in our head of what we need to do. Maybe it's in our life, maybe it's in our business. Like earlier today, I had a weekly call with a client that I talk to every Friday morning. And as we went through our conversation today, he brought me up to date on the things that he had formulated since last week, which was a total change in the way the business has operated for a number of years. He was coming up with process. In fact, I told him, I said, brother, you've done some deep thinking. Something has been whispering to you. Now, one of the things is this gentleman believes in,
I believe Jerry has froze again.
and
I,
we are losing. Hey, it
okay, go
looks
ahead.
like we're back. Looks like we're back. So anyway, the internet's giving us a little fit today, folks. So I apologize for that. But what are these whispers that tell you where you need to go, what changes you need to make? Josh, you were talking in the green room before we got started about you had listened or read about a woman in business. Can you go in a little bit of detail and what your thoughts are on this whispers we're talking about?
So I've listened to a lot about Sarah Blakely, who was the founder of Spanx, who's obviously fabulously rich now, sold her company for a ton of money. One of the things that she talks about is kind of that quiet time where the whispers crawl in. And, you know, in her business, she got to be living pretty quickly to her office. And when she said she would just go drive around the city and things would come to her just in that quiet space. For me, some of my best ones came, you know, I like to list, my wife will tell you, I like to have the music turned up when I'm doing stuff or in the car, or actually just shooting the shit with my friends. And then you're like, oh man, that's, you know, something comes to you just randomly. And hopefully I take my phone out and I write it down. Because sometimes I'm like, oh, that's such a great idea. I better enact that. But those are, you know, those type of moments, if you're someone that's in the shower or training, or, you know, make sure there's time for that. Because those things do come to you. One of the worst ones to me was as soon as I'd lay down to bed, close my eyes, let everything wash over me, and then something would come to me. I was like, inevitably, I'm like, oh, why now? I'm already, I'm already in that REM, I'm already nodding off. And then of course something comes to me.
Yeah. And you know, one of the things that when we visited Aileron a couple of years ago, I went there and attended a Saber Civil Systems seminar there. Then later we actually rented their facility and did a training course, leadership training there. But one of the things that they had there that John Meredith told me about was they had a dreaming room, and how he used to go into this dreaming room, and it was a place for him to set everything else aside and do his dreaming. I also remember Michael Gerber. He is the author of the E-Myth, and he used to talk about dream with me. And see, I think that's part of the problem is the whispers are the things that we dream about, the things that we need to move on. The whispers can tell us stuff. It can tell us that we need to do certain things that we may not feel comfortable doing. And a lot of times we just don't listen to those whispers. So Noah, what about you, my young friend? What about you? What do you think on this whispers concept? Do you ever hear these voices talking to you?
I do. I also think I have a little bit of ADHD, so that doesn't help. I do. I think as entrepreneurs, it's so important to have those whispers in your head, because I truly do think that those whispers set the direction for where you're going. Like you said, I think I really resonate with Josh in terms of, like, you know, I go to bed at the end of the night and it's like, that's when my brain turns on. I actually sent an email to these guys a few weeks ago at like 11 o'clock at night. I'm doing work and I'm like, hey, sending you guys these clips now because like 10 o'clock hit and my brain just starts talking, right? But yeah, I think that those whispers really just do kind of serve as a moral compass. But what's so important about them is that, like, we do doubt those whispers a lot. But those little urges that we have, whether they're something as, you know, insane as like Cheryl getting an idea that her kids are in the hospital when no one said anything, which is crazy to me, or even just like, hey, maybe I should turn left here, even though everyone's telling me to turn right. Those sorts of paths just set you on a new direction, especially in like an entrepreneurial mindset that can change the trajectory of where you end up, and creates those success stories based on those people that strayed from the path and decided to do something different. So.
Yeah. And you know, it's kind of like having a GPS in the way. It's like, that's one of the great things about a GPS. I could be traveling down the road and the GPS is kind of like a whisper. If you look at it, it can tell you when there's a detour ahead. It can tell you when the traffic's backed up. It can tell you the alternative ways to go around. So I look at the whispers kind of like a built-in GPS that I think as humans we may possess, that if we can figure out how to make use of this, it can really be a fantastic thing. So Cheryl, one of the things that you had, and you said the whispers told you to do this, was recently when you found out you had cancer. And the whispers told you to go and have that mammogram done. And by doing that, you were able to catch this early enough that you didn't have to have major surgery, you had to have a small tumor removed and you went through radiation treatment. So what was that whisper that made you do that? Because you're a person that doesn't like to go to a doctor. So what was it saying to you?
Well, it started out a little different than that. I usually cancel all my calls, okay, or all my doctor appointments. It's a Cheryl thing. And I tried to do it twice, and things happened, and I had to hang up the phone and go to it. The third time when I started to do it, there was no reason that, I don't know. I don't guess I could think of a good reason. I just started dialing, and that's what you do. The thing is, something kept me from not pushing the button to stop the call. But you don't. It's a feeling. Those kind of whispers are the ones that are inside. A lot of people call them gut feelings. A lot call them intuition. I mean, you can use any word you want to. I like whispers. That works for me. But a lot of times there's no audible to those. Those are just, you do it. All of a sudden you do something without thinking about it. And I think those are the ones that people are more afraid of. All of us do, like Josh and Noah do. We all do it better than not. You guys are extremely lucky. Mine's between 2 and 3 in the morning. Okay? And so that's when my best ideas come. And you just literally sit up in the bed and you start doing it. But most people will not do like Josh. They won't react. And that's the problem. You've got to react to them. You've got to move on them, because once they're gone, they're bypassed.
Yeah. So, folks, we're having some internet issues that are really dragging this thing today, and I want to apologize for that. So, we're going to go ahead and cut this short today, because we cannot, the internet gods are with us. I didn't have any whispers telling me this was going to happen, but we're really having a problem here, because I notice it's just dragging and dragging. So, hopefully, this little short segment today is giving you some ideas. Listen to those whispers. Follow them. Hopefully, they'll take you and guide you to where you want to go. So I appreciate you joining us this week on this episode, and we'll see you. We will not be broadcasting next Friday. We will be at the Chimney Expo in King of Prussia, the NCSG Chimney Expo. So if you're going to that show, hey, stop in and see us. We'll be there, and we look forward to talking to you. And with that, we'll see you next time on the next episode of the CVC Home Service Success Network. Appreciate you being here today, and we'll look forward to you on a future episode.